Hello, and welcome to another episode of Guided by the Unconscious. You are here with Emily Newman-Graves.
And Danielle Arriaga.
And we are so excited. We have a pretty good episode to talk about. Some crazy shit happens this week needs to be discussed. In the week, from this Sunday today. We record on Fridays. That's so funny. It's just a lot has happened in this week and we need to talk about. But we'll just dive into some of the topics that we've planned and then go into what happened in this week. But it's just like this world is just so crazy. I have moments where I'll just be like on a day-to-day, just minding my own business, and someone will just like approach me and just like ask me a question. If like I'm a retail worker, just say something inappropriate to me. Like I don't like. Do you get that? Like just having that random approach just because of your face. Because of your face.
Literally all the time. And I don't think I have an approachable face. Like off the jump. If you know me, it's different because you're like, oh, she's nice. Like she's obviously approachable. But to a stranger, I feel like I don't have an approachable face. Like, you're not just going to be like, she seems cool to talk to. Let me just go up to her. And for me, there are multiple scenarios of people whom, like, not even associates, people who I've only met in the first hour, maybe, the first day of meeting them.
Yeah, you don't learn a lot about somebody.
You learn nothing. You learn literally nothing about, like, the person. You know, like, just base level things. And I had a guy one time came out of nowhere, met him that first day, and he came up to me and was talking to me about his like gruesome divorce. And I'm like,
personal. That's a bit personal.
Yeah. And on top of that, I'm the type of person where I don't want to be mean or be like push away, because I at the same time feel like that person may need to just speak to someone.
Definitely. And they're there just to like have some type of like not condolence, like but just a voice like to hear somebody.
Get it from here out. Like that alone is good for you, but maybe to someone,
not
maybe
to like
a therapist,
a coworker,
or any stranger,
or close friends.
No one.
Not the person next to you on the subway or
there's a time and place for those things, and it's not to acquaintances or strangers. And then it would proceed, like I obviously knew him after that, and weeks went by, but we never spoke to each other, never had in-depth conversations. And then the next time he came to me, he's like, he brings his phone and he's like, look, he's like, I'm on, I don't know what dating app it was, Hinge or,
and now he's showing
I don't even know
off.
what other
he came
ones
to you,
dude. He's like, I have a hot date with this girl. Mind you, she's half his age.
Okay.
Doesn't look like anything he would approach. Then again, I don't know him, so I can't really say.
Fair.
And I'm just like, oh, so uncomfortable. Like, why are
because
you
of your
telling
face?
Me? Yeah, literally just because he felt comfortable enough to just.
Yeah, I get comments about when I worked at Target, especially just because it's a very public place and I'm a manager, so I'm constantly on the floor. Don't get me wrong, there's moments where I've hid like in the men's underwear department or like in the back room or like somewhere.
I would 100%
somewhere I'm like I'm helping a customer, but the amount of times like I've had somebody come up to me and just like say something to me about my body. Because I think a lot of people get a little taken back that I have a booty. So it takes a lot of people.
Like a white girl with a booty.
It takes a lot of people by surprise. And because I'm small on top. Like you just don't expect it.
That's so funny.
And this guy came up to me while I'm like stocking men's underwear. And he was like, I know this might be he was like nice. He did say it was a little inappropriate. It was weird. But he was like, your body looks like Jessica Rabbit. And I was like,
crickets at that moment.
Yeah, literally, I was like, because at first off, I was like, Jessica Rabbit, and then the red Roger Rabbit's wife, like, whoa, boom, like, oh my god.
You're in the middle of like Hanes, and you're like,
yeah, I'm like, thanks, like, okay, and like he was with his wife, and his wife was like, honestly, balls. Like you have a really nice body, and I'm like, thank you.
Maybe they were
okay.
Maybe they were just trying to get you.
You
never know.
I don't know. But that wasn't the first encounter. There's been others, and it's just inappropriate. Like
it's inappropriate. It's uncomfortable.
Like it was like a backhanded slap. Like it's like you look like you have a very nice body, But, like, that's it. Like, that's all you
got.
Like, that's all.
And I don't know you, but I'm just going to comment on something physical.
Yeah.
Which is, one, uncalled for. And two,
like, he took his time out of his day on the track in Target and saw me and stopped his wife, too, at some point. Was like, I need to go say something to her. That's a weird thing. Like, it's a nice comment, but sometimes just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Or take a picture.
Don't
take a picture.
Yeah, no, that's a little creepy. Sometimes I'll have, like, so this one time in the gym, I don't have friends in the gym, but I kind of do, but I don't. So you know how some people go there and it's really to socialize. Like, they work out, but they have their crew, they know who's at that same time.
It's like a high school cafeteria.
Yeah, like they know everyone.
Yeah.
I don't go and I don't talk to people because I literally put my headphones in and I get my workout in and I'm out. Mm-hmm. There's like maybe 2 or 3 people who I know. If I see, I'll be like, but nothing more. I'm on the squat rack and the wall's in front of me. So obviously the only way out is back. And I'm squatting mid-set. I am literally with the bar and weights on, which first of all, don't ever approach someone in that scenario. That's so dangerous.
Of a workout?
Literally in the middle of a squat. This old man behind me, not like close, but where the bar is, and that's close enough. I mean the rack, which is close enough. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and the mirror is in front of me, and I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So I'm squatting, whatever. Now I get annoyed, so I come up and I like rack it kind of loud, so it's making, a scene. And I turn around, this guy's like, how many more sets do you have? And that's something I hate.
Like they go,
they
you're
want
in the
like
middle of a set,
yeah,
and they want to use
and
the
they want to use it. And if you want to use it, cool. Like I'll save it for you after, make sure that you get it.
Yeah, like I'll
but don't ask to work in. Like, I don't like that. I just don't, like, while you're doing your set.
I've seen video. I don't go to the gym. I don't know much of gym etiquette. Yeah, but when I am there, I'm kind of like you. Like, if I do go to a gym, like, I'm to myself. Like, I'm doing my own workout. Like, I don't even want to bother people in their space. Like, I will wait until 100%. The whole section is probably cleared. Or there's, like, one person before I go. And if it doesn't clear, I'm not doing that workout. Yeah. I'm skipping that day.
It's just, like, it is gym etiquette. And I'm like, I don't know how many sets I had left, but it was more than half. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I have a decent amount to go. And he's like, do you mind if I work in? And I was like, squats? Because first of all, I'm 5'1", we'll say. I think I'm just 5 feet, but I'm 5'1". So where I rack the bar is way lower than the average person. So anyone who works out with me hates squatting because they have to like crouch under and then lift the bar.
So you're saying that he's going to have to stand next to you
I was like questioning.
You're going to be dangling if he goes.
Well, yeah. Like, I'm like, you want to squat, like work into the squat? And he's like, no, can I just use, so at the squat rack, there's also on the ends, nothing to do with the bar that's on there, these like ledges where you can also put a bar, like another bar, if you're going to do anything. Rows, shoulder press, like you can rack it there. And he's like, no, I got to do rows. And I was like, okay, sure. Like, I was just I think it was so pissed off. I was just like,
very specific on like what they have to do at the gym. And if there's somebody in their way of their routine, it's like they're bolder.
He's going to do it. Yeah. So mind you, if picture a squat rack, I'm in there squatting. And this man is behind me. He could have been my dad's age. Gross. And he like takes the bar and he has to bend forward. My ass is right here. Like, it's so uncomfortable. Yeah. And he's like,
you need that personal space. Like, the gym, you're sweaty, especially with like a random person next to you. Like
random. And I've seen him there for years, but like we've never spoke to each other. That does not mean
I don't go to the gym.
Creepy old men. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just the fact that I ended up stopping my set and I was like, I don't need to do this. Racked it, left. But I'm like, what would make you feel comfortable enough coming up to me and asking me that? Apparently my fucking face. Mm-hmm. Like, no. Sometimes I want to walk around with like
no respect.
Like, don't approach me.
So my parents live in like an apartment in Long Branch, and they went away on vacation, and we stayed there for a little bit to walk their dog Skipper. Mm-hmm. Skipper. He's a little beagle. He's cute. But anyway, so I walking the dog along the boardwalk of the beach, and it's illegal to walk your dog on the boardwalk, so I'm like walking like along the side.
Really?
Yeah, you can't walk them, especially like I think even off season you can't walk the dog. You're not even allowed to bring them on the beach. Like technically you could bring them on the beach, but they're not on the boardwalk, so there's like a weird cancellation. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm walking the dog.
That's crazy.
And if I'm walking a dog in a public space, I will only interact with you if you have another dog, but even that, like, I don't really want to.
Yeah, I prefer not to.
Because, like, I'd rather just talk to the dog than the owner itself. And, like, Skipper's, like, not the best, like, dog-on-dog interaction either. So, like, I'd rather just, like, if I do see a dog, because, like, I'm walking a dog before work, and, like, I want, like, a rushed walk. Like, I don't want to have, like, a little play. Like, you take your shit and let's go.
I got things to do.
So we're walking the dog. Skipper goes to the bathroom. I pick it up, and because we're on a boardwalk, I'm like, it's another thing. Like, I hate dog. Like, I'm still on my knees, walking around with this poop.
My dog shit.
And so I'm waiting till, like, we reach a garbage can that's on the boardwalk. We cross the street, and we go, and I throw it out. And there's a man sitting on the bench there, and he says, "Good girl." He called the good girl for throwing away the dog shit. Like, why did you have to say that?
Ew.
Like, what?
Ew. I literally would have been like,
what?
How old is he?
I think he blew up. Like, I looked at him, and he blew up in my head. Like, he exploded.
Is he old?
Yeah, he was an old man. First off, don't call me a good girl. Don't call me girl. Don't call me good.
Don't address me.
Don't address me, especially when I have dog shit in my hand. I was this close on reaching back in and just shoving it in his face.
That's how I feel about your good girl.
You don't say that to somebody.
So uncomfortable.
And like, yeah, I could, like, there's days where I look my age. There's days that I look like I'm 14 years old. Even if I'm 14 years old, you don't,
especially if you look for 14, you don't do that.
And say, good girl for throwing away that dog poop. Like, you gonna give me like a gold sticker? Like,
can I get a popsicle too?
Like,
fuck yourself, sir.
Like, what do you want me to say in that situation? I just looked at him like,
I have now, like, especially with older men, because they have the most audacity, like the most out of anyone group I know. Women, I rarely get approached by a woman. Rarely.
This happened to me the other day.
By a woman?
By a woman. It wasn't like inappropriate or anything, but she literally was like, because of my face. That like was like the end of it. Yeah. So I'm literally just shopping at DSW looking for. I want running sneakers. Like I'm running this 5K in January, so I was like, I want new shoes to like run in and practice in. Go to DSW. I have 2 pairs of different sneakers, or 2 different shoes on my feet, because I'm like I'm testing the waters.
You have to test drive the car.
And you know, DSW, like, you have the rows, so you really only see the next person from like your torso up. I'm like pacing back and forth, walking, like, it's obvious, like, I am testing some shoes. This lady
or you have some issues.
Yeah. So I'm like doing my thing. I look up, and I make direct eye contact with this lady, and this lady's like rushes towards me on the other side of the barrier and was like, "Do you have this in a 9?" Lady, I don't work here. I have two different shoes on. On her defense, she doesn't see it.
True,
but she like was looking at me for a while because like I was walking back and forth. Like, it was just weird. And I'm not like, I'm in like a tank top and like running shorts. Like, I'm not in a work attire. I'm not in what I'm wearing now. Like, it was
what someone would wear at DSW.
Like I think they wear like aprons too and a name tag.
Yeah, like name tags are a dead giveaway.
A lot of indications of who's an employee and who's not. But I looked at, because when we made the first initial reaction, like, I smiled at her. So she came to me, and then she was just like, and then asked me if I had a size 9 for her. And I was like, I'm sorry, like, I don't work here. And she was like, oh, well, your face. And then just, like, turned around. And I was like,
I'm like, the one I was born with.
Yeah. I'm sorry. My face just shows DSW sales clerk.
Right? You're the poster child for DSW. It is weird. Like, with women, I genuinely can't think of a time a woman has approached me. It's always been men.
Mostly, yeah.
And older men. Mm-hmm. Like, men younger.
I just don't think they care.
you know what? It's a weird complex that I have with that, because it's like, I get the ick from old men. Like, they just all creep me out. And where was I?
Like, it was another. Are we talking like 70 and up? Like,
honestly, I'm talking about, let's say,
like
45 and up.
Okay.
Like, obviously, the men in my family don't give me the ick, but strangers, that group,
era.
Yeah, because one, they don't give a flying fuck, and even, let's just say, they have the need to say something, especially on your appearance. It may not just be your face. So, like, there'll be times where, anyone who knows me, I love Skims. So I love the Skims, like, Kim, please, pretty please. I love wearing their, like, sundress in the summer. Great material. It feels like you're in pajamas, which is great. But it is form-fitting, and I do have a lower half that's a little voluptuous.
You got that peach.
And
you got that peach.
Yeah. I got that shit in New Jersey, not Georgia. But yeah, so I get uncomfortable, like, going anywhere in that. And you shouldn't have to. Like, no. Whatever you want to wear is whatever you want to wear. But let's say Grant and I were like, I don't know, let's go to New York or go to the restaurant or go boardwalk or whatever in public. I can literally feel
the eyes.
Feel
everywhere.
It's uncomfortable. And then at times, even when I'm with Grant, or I'll be with my family. Oh, that was one time I was probably 23. It was like freshly 21 or a little older, because I could finally drink with my family when we went out.
Fun.
And we went to Atlantic City Boardwalk, or it was like Point Pleasant. It was a boardwalk. And I wore a sundress, and I was with my family. So I was with my mom, my dad, and Georgie, my brother. And we're walking, and I don't remember what the guy said, to be honest, but he catcalled me. Mm-hmm. At that time, I genuinely looked like I was 16, but I wasn't. But that's besides the point. And
still shouldn't be catcalled.
If she looks too young,
unless it was to your mom, because your mom's.
Well, my mom is literally.
She's hot.
So young, like she looked. If you take a picture of her 10 years ago and now, she looked older 10 years ago than she does now. It's weird.
She has Benjamin Button's
literally. Like, I have to show you, because it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. When she was pregnant with my brother, well, that was a long time ago. That was more than 10 years ago. But, like, after, she literally looked.
Totally she de-aged. What
she doing? I don't know, but I'm trying to find out.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah, I need to start doing it.
We need to gatekeep this.
And so this guy said something, and my dad heard it.
Yeah, that's just very inappropriate.
My dad went off. My dad was like, oh my God. When you come for, like, anyone in our family, even friends, like, my dad
will do some shit.
Yeah.
He's the protector of the family.
Side note, quick story about that. Last week, I go over to my parents' house for Father's Day. And me, my mom, my dad were sitting outside, and Grant was working late, so he was going to come after. So he tells me he's on his way, and we live in Freehold, and they live, like, near East Brunswick area. Mm-hmm. Decent drive, like 25, 30 minutes. So Grant calls me, and we're all outside, and he's like, this guy has been, like, fucking with me, like, driving, stopping short, and, like, you know, all this shit, since Wegmans. Now, if you know Route 9 and 18.
That's a distance.
Wegmans in Manalapan to East Brunswick Mall is basically the length of that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this guy's fucking with me. And we pulled up to 2 red lights, and he's like, get the fuck out. And Grant is not one to shy away from a fight. I mean, what man is? Big testosterone.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah? He's like, you know what? Fine, just follow me. So he calls me, and he's like, I'm pulling down the 18. I'm about to pull up to the house. This is what happened. This guy's following me. He's going to fight. Like, he wants to fight. Instantly. So I'm like, I'm on the phone.
Is this a prank?
No, like, he literally, I knew the tone, and I was like,
this is serious.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, we're walking down now. Hung up. I was like, I, like, quickly summarized it, my dad. And he looks at my mom, he was like, get the bat. Dead serious. Like, not like, oh, great, here we go. And I was like, Lucy, get the bat, let's go. We all got up. It looked It probably looked so funny because we were all so serious. We were like, you don't fuck with anyone that we care about. Yeah, my dad was right. Mind you, my dad has a TENS unit on because he blew his back out, and he's like, instantly was like, I'm ready. Like, put me in, coach. We pulled down, we walked down the driveway, we see Grant pull up. This guy was in a black Tesla, like all blacked out. You couldn't even see inside the...
What a douche.
Right? I'm like, oh, I'm so scared of you.
And he's Tesla. The one that wants to fight?
Yeah. So Grant pulls in. He literally stops in the middle of the street, gets out. My dad literally is... So my dad did not grow up in a privileged town. My dad grew up in the hood, in the projects. So just picture that. This man is dragging the bat. Like, making that noise all the way down the driveway. And I'm ready to fight. And my mom was ready to fight this grown man. So the guy pulls... He's probably like 25 yards away from Grant's stopped car. And I already on my phone like typed in 911, but I obviously didn't like send it yet.
Yeah.
And my dad's in the middle of the street with the bat. And he's like, let's go. Like, come on, get out of the fucking car, get out of the car.
I can't believe and this is like that happened.
Dude, and I'm sitting there with 911 and I was like, come on. Like, let's go. Do you want to?
Car?
He was like 25 yards out but didn't get out the car. And I couldn't see him because it was blacked out. And all of a sudden, he fucking backs out and drives away onto 18. My dad's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. Oh my God.
That's wild.
And then we sit down and Grant's like, damn, George. Like, my dad.
He's got my back.
I didn't know you were all like that. My dad was like, you're lucky the bat was the first thing that we had. Yeah. He's like, I would have come after that man. But, yes, that was my synopsis of that story. But yeah, you don't come for his family, and don't approach people.
Don't approach people. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
Like, just don't approach people.
It's as easy as that.
Keep your thoughts to yourself. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure we learned that in
or to your therapist.
Yeah,
to
better
like
to your
clinically
trained
professional clinician.
Exactly.
Clinician. I keep saying the same word.
It's like clinician or clinician.
Wait. What's the word?
I don't know if it is a word. Is it a word?
Your psychiatric
therapist.
Okay.
Anyway,
we'll just cut that.
Yeah, just cut our losses there.
We'll snip it there.
But another thing, so we met working in retail. Mm-hmm. Great times.
Gotta love the retail life.
Gotta love retail. And we were talking about how if you have not worked in retail or like a waiter or service where you literally have to serve the customers.
Anything.
I feel like
any customer base.
Yeah, that you have to engage with the customer, like face to face or Zoom to Zoom, whatever it may be. If you have not, then you really don't have an opinion on
anything. No experience, no opinion. You should not be rude to an employee. You don't know what they're going through.
And you don't know what their job, like, backhand.
Yeah.
Like, for Michael Kors, we had, like, stats. You have to reach, like, stats.
Yeah, we had our
it was a commission.
Goals. We had personal goals, and then we had the store goals. So, like, we had to keep our own logs and books and clients, and that itself was impossible because
and that stresses you out. Step one.
Yeah.
And then Jane Doe, who comes in, who's like the world is mine and everyone rolls around me, has no clue what we have to go through, and then gets pissed and treats you like dog shit.
The sweat, tears, and blood that we go through to, like, just grab something
literally
for you, or just try to, like, close a sale just to, like, make you happy and to make my paycheck happy.
Yeah, like, ultimately we're trying to make money. Mm-hmm. It's the point of a job, but the customer doesn't understand what goes into creating that. So it was commission based.
Yeah,
so obviously the more you sell, the more you make. So obviously I want to push a bag, a wristlet, a watch, this, a that. And I get that you may be pissed off or whatever, but, like, that person is also a person too who had a rough day, who's been having a rough time, who, let's say someone just broke up with them, or they're a little depressed that day, or they're a little sad about where they are. Like, they're still a human, and you still should be treating them as such, because you don't understand what they go through on a day-to-day basis, just like they don't know what you're going through on a day-to-day basis.
It's that you got to put yourself in the other person's shoes situation. You can't just take everything out on one person. You don't know where they're going or where they've been or what they're going through right then and there. There was a situation happened, I think it was like over in the spring, a little league team in Deptford, New Jersey, I think. The parents were just getting so involved in the game and like stepping over the line and being
stepping their boundaries,
especially to like the umpire of the game. And these are like little kids, just like, you know,
literally little kids
like playing a baseball game. So the town came out with a new law saying that if you get banned from a little league game, you can't go back until you have, I think, like 3 sessions of being an umpire. So you have to like put yourself in the umpire's shoes and see how they call the shots and what stress levels they go under. I mean, it's Little League. I haven't
so
been
intense.
to a Little League game in a while. I don't see it being very stressful. But I can see parents being competitive, especially with their kids, because they have a prodigy, you know?
Yeah,
like
they all think everyone's making it.
Especially on like, I'm pretty sure Deptford's like a pretty bougie,
prestige,
bougie town anyway.
I do agree with that because
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, as I think the younger the kid in the sport, the worse it is. Because I don't see it too much. I only saw it from the perspective of, like, my brother. Mm-hmm. So, obviously, we're 8 years apart-ish, and he did a lot of sports growing up. His first sport, I think it was. No, he did do Little League, I think. Yeah, he did do Little League, but the big one was wrestling. So, my dad wrestled in high school, and so now Georgie wrestled, and Anyway, Georgie was not an aggressive kid at all. So, and that's an aggressive sport.
That is aggressive sport.
So it didn't end up working out, long story short. But whenever, even my dad's at fault to it. And it's funny because he ended up being one of the assistant coaches. So it's like, you are on the mat. But if he wasn't on the mat, like if he wasn't a coach, he would 100% be stepping boundaries. Like he would literally be like, throw a half, Georgie, throw it. And Georgie's right there. It's just, it was too much.
There needs to be boundaries.
Parents, yes.
Yeah, 100%. The boundaries need to be set. And I think this is a great step. And this should be applied to everything.
Yes.
If you are rude to your server at a restaurant, then you need to serve at that restaurant for the next 3 nights and see how it goes. Do the double. See how it is to like actually be on your feet for that long.
You barely eat.
You
eat whatever scraps the kitchen will have extra or make for you, but it's not like you have enough time to sit there and enjoy a meal.
You can't.
You don't. Like there's tables that need to be run. There's drinks
you
that
have
need
the
to be
meal
served.
at the end of your shift,
which is crazy because let's say it's an 8-hour shift, but Jane Doe is sitting there for an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's not 8 hours. You're staying there till that person's done. Like you're gonna get the tip, so you're gonna stay. And just the sheer fact that they're on their feet. If you have a job that like you never stood on your feet for basically all day, you can't. You don't have an opinion because that alone is so painful.
So painful.
My back, my hips, my knees, my upper back, your posture, like. And then there's Karen being like, "I asked for it without cheese." Like, shut up. I know you have some lactose issues, but it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's not the end of the world.
It's not. But I do think that should definitely be applied in more situations.
100%, because it comes down to the basic principle of put yourself in the other person's shoes. Yeah. That's literally what it comes down to, and that applies for everything.
This is like the whole wrap up to like a lot of topics of got in your other shoes.
You really do, because you just never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Like, I had a customer one time call, and I was just not having it that day. Like, I was just so mad I had to work on that specific day, and, like, everyone wasn't, and I just was like, I was just in that mood.
Yeah.
And granted, I still treated everyone with the same level of respect. I'm not going to be nasty to you on the phone because I'm having a bad day.
Exactly. You shouldn't have to put your stress, your anger, your tiredness onto somebody else.
No.
Like, that's
and
not their
one,
problem.
they don't deserve it. And two, that doesn't help. What is that doing for me?
you could tell them and say like, hey, like I'm not in, you know, the best mood today. Yeah. But and like that might like some might cheer you up a little bit. But
ended up like
don't push the pressure on somebody else.
Yeah. It's unnecessary, it's pointless. Yeah. And she was kind of pissing me off. She was just asking so many questions, like dumb questions, and like I was just trying to hoosah while I was talking to her. And she was like, oh, you're working today? I don't know if it was like a holiday or like whatever it was. It was just a day where like no one was working in the world.
But you are.
But I was. And I was like, yeah, I'm working. I'm the only one here right now. And she was like, oh, like I'm so sorry you have to work today. You have a great day. I was like, okay, thank you. Hung up. She sent in an email. I think I have a picture of it still. And it was like a Pinterest quote, you know, it's like a picture, but it has like, you know, the little quote. And it was something spiritual, like with God or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but it was basically like, you know, you put in for others give to you, you'll flourish, something like that. It was good vibes.
I like that.
And then she wrote, she was like, I'm so sorry you have to work today. I hope this brings a little like happiness or ups your spirits.
There needs to be more people like that.
I read it.
The littlest thing, like out of her day, like just thinking of you.
I was like, wow, I take back thinking that you were really annoying. But she felt that, like, you know what I mean? Like she could put herself in my shoes.
She did, and she was like, maybe I could try and.
It was so sweet.
Just the littlest
that
action.
Made my day. That was like,
that's
okay,
adorable.
like I'm not mad anymore.
Oh, that's really sweet.
I think the world needs way more people like that.
100%. If you're out there, lady.
Yeah,
keep doing you.
Yeah, I don't even know her. Like, I wish I could like actually tell her. Right?
Yeah, for just her one good act that we know of. Like she could probably be a terrible person. And she was just feeling good that day.
I think she's nice. But yeah, that really just made my day. And I think interactions would go better. I think less arguing, less hate, a lot of less bad things.
Yeah.
Just be empathetic. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
You do have to put your ego aside. So for people who are very ego-driven, good luck.
Yeah, they're not going to get through very well with this.
No.
With that. No.
Not at all.
No.
I agree.
All right, I guess we could jump right into, because I think we're pretty excited to talk about this. Okay, so this past week has been pretty crazy.
Like Sunday? Yeah, like 5 days.
It started Sunday, so I don't know if everybody probably knows about this, because it's like really the talk of,
if not, you're gonna know now.
I don't see like much about news of like other news channels kind of talking about it, but it's definitely like North America focused and social media focused. Is the Titan. The Titan. I said that's so weird. The Titan submersible that went down. It was the Ocean Gate expedition tour to go visit the. Immediate red flag. I'm sorry, I don't trust anything that has the word gate in it. No.
I'll pass.
Ghostbusters had a gate. I don't think so.
No. Yeah.
No, you don't just trust, like I'm just saying, you just don't trust anything with a gate. No. There's the Pizzagate thing with Hillary Clinton, like the Clintons. Like that's like a whole. I know it's like a conspiracy thing, but like again, like you don't trust it. It's a gate.
Exactly.
You don't trust a gate.
The fact that these 5 billionaires.
Well, 4 and 1. The kid.
Yeah. The kid. He's a billionaire by association.
Yes.
And it's that they paid $250,000 per person.
$250,000 in
one ticket into the depths of the ocean to see the Titanic ruins.
There has just been my mind. I'm like, I don't know where to like put my thoughts right
now
because I really can just the thought, just going through the thought process. Yes, it is a very cool idea. I think it is something that somebody thought of it. I have the funds, the money, the board to back me up and give me the money, the assets that I need to make this happen. I think half-assed it, tried to get a product.
Way less than half-assed.
And
quarter half.
Well, and I think he was like under stress. This is what I'm coming to is like he's coming stressed to like having a final product where they could actually start making money. Because if it actually did work, then they would probably be able to do tours much more frequently.
To the masses.
And to anybody that could also afford it as well, which I don't really think is that many people. So your demographic too for that amount of money
they're around 1%ers now. The people billionaire. So if you're gonna spend $250,000 on a day excursion, right, per person, you're gonna assume the person who buys that ticket has tenfold of that, because that's nothing to them. It's nothing. Okay. Well, so the billionaires, obviously $250K is chump change to them. They probably wipe their ass with $250K.
They probably made that in the hour.
Literally.
Yeah.
So for you to, mind you, this thing was made up. It literally looks like a toy. Like someone just fiberglassed and welded together.
It was a podcast. They were like, it looks like a fleshlight. It's what guys use to fuck.
Well, I was going to say insert picture, but let's not insert a picture. No,
but it's kind of funny,
That's hysterical. It literally looks like a made-up
It doesn't look...
thing.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
And the way the captain was driving it was literally an Xbox gaming controller, like refabricated on the inside to do this.
In my defense for that, one, if you're building something that's like very... specific, like you think you'd build a controller specifically for that as well.
You can make it look similar, but like it literally looked like a
to the defense of that, there are a lot of engineers that do use those types of controllers just because it's already built. Like you literally just have to program the controls to what you were doing, and then there's that.
That's good.
But something that's going well under 10,000 feet of water, I think you would have something a little bit more prepared
and more sustainable for the
passengers.
Yeah, and the what's the word I'm thinking of? The things that are gonna go awry that far down. Like you want to make sure that
like you want like an emergency.
Yeah, like everything that could happen.
That's the
you should prepare for it.
There really can't be that much of an emergency backup when you're that far underwater, because if you go through like if you go to any scuba diver training, there's rules on like how many feet below sea level you can go to, and by the time you get there you have to train your body to resurface.
What they call like decompressive points.
You have to decompress your body because your body is going through so much pressure. Mind you too, water is the most powerful element on our earth.
Terrifying.
And you're thinking that you could withstand the pressures of 12,000 feet when your ears pop at the Grand Canyon at 3,000 feet elevation.
Exactly.
It's just
we were not meant to be that far down. Let's just put it that way.
That's why there's so much ocean that's not explored, because it's impossible for humans.
Yeah. And the fact that I just picture these 5 people of a wealthy status. Like there's rich, then there's wealthy, like wealth, real wealth. And they're sitting on the floor.
Wealth.
Yeah, like dumb wealth. Sitting on the floor. Yeah, like crisscross applesauce. And your bathroom is a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
If I'm paying that much money and I'm a billionaire.
It smelled so bad in there. Like the Ziploc, like they were in like freezer. Like
freezer bags?
Yeah, like where do you put them? Like what's secure? Like this was like not like
and a sandwich and a bottle of water.
Is more
feasible
and equipped than what this craft was. Like, I think it was just like a quick, I need to make money, show proof that
let's get these really rich
possible. People. And like the one guy that was on it, like he had like I think he did like 30 expeditions to the Titanic with like he had experience, obviously not with Ocean Gate, but he was like a certified person that's gone through this. And then I know today on the news they were talking about like the specs of the actual ship itself, or the submersible,
this toy.
It was crazy that they used materials that
you can get them at Home Depot.
Yeah,
it was like piping, like regular piping.
Well, no, they used like a carbon fiber for like the main capsule, and apparently like that was like a big no-no. And then like the director of the Titanic came on because he's an expert, because he had to do all of this history and research and he did his own studies and expeditions going down to make sure he had the most like authentic image possible for this movie, and he did a fantastic job.
It's crazy.
But he even was like, this was very, very stupid of them.
And so dangerous. And we were saying, as these billionaires are inquiring about this trip, paying for the ticket, first of all, the waiver you signed said death 3 times. 3 times it mentioned you can die on this expedition. No. But at the same time, all these billionaires, you definitely have a team of advisors, financial advisors, executives that kind of guide your decisions in a profitable way. How did any of them not think this was a dumb idea?
I don't know. They must have been like investors themselves in this.
Could be, yeah. Like, and then my other thing is like, okay, you're gonna go. You did all this to see not to knock what the Titanic is. But just to say, like, you must have like an obsession over it, like crazy obsession. $250K is in a real deep obsession, and it's like, in my mind, I'm not a billionaire. I wish.
I just wouldn't want to be underwater, especially it's
just water.
Yeah, like I don't scary. Like I love being at the beach, but by the second I can't feel my feet touch the sand while I'm in that water, I'm swimming back. I'm not okay unless I could see the ground crystal and I'm clear. Swimming, then I'm okay. Yeah. But like the fact that like you're in this thing that just drops to the bottom. I can't do it, especially at depths. No, it doesn't. No. It's just so uncomfortable. Like, I don't understand.
Just to see, like, ruins.
But you don't even really, like, see. You have one little window, but most of it was on a screen. And you can do that in the comfort of your own home.
Mind you, if I'm a billionaire, I'm sitting on my super yacht, docked on my private island with a movie theater.
Island.
Yeah. And then I'll watch one of the 100 documentaries or the other movies that are documented on this ruin. I'll watch that. Watch it with your new Apple.
How about watch the documentary of the Titanic and how it fucking split in the middle of the ocean because of the pressure. It's so sad.
It is sad that all these they passed. It is sad as far as we know.
They also saw that the Navy, so on like day 2 of like they were saying like they have 40 hours left of
this
air
countdown was also crazy.
By the time that came in my head, I was like they had to implode because the pressure. Like there's no way they could withstand 13,000 feet of that. There's no way.
They had, obviously, like, every time I scroll on TikTok, it's, like, another story about this. So this one person was like, let's say that it didn't implode, which the chances of that are basically impossible. But especially with what they made the craft of.
Yeah, well, now more information's come out about it. Yeah. It's just, like, it just doesn't make sense why this happens.
And then this one girl, which is kind of crazy to think about, she's like, let's say it didn't, right? It gets to the bottom there. It's like light does not touch that far down. It's so cold that they can go into hypothermia inside the vessel, we'll say. So let's say it hit, right? Not the ocean floor, but like hit a ground, hit a trench. Thank you, Nemo. Like, what did he say? Let's say it hit that. Imagine that they died, because you're obviously going to run out of water. I mean, run out of oxygen and water and food. And with that cold of a temperature, they would have been preserved. Yeah. Like pristine condition. Definitely. So no light got to it, no oxygen got to it. It's cold, which are all the things you do need to preserve something that is dead. Imagine.
Do you think that's like?
I don't think that's what happened. But
we're making our own conspiracy, even though.
But imagine that would have been crazy, because the logic of it is due to the pressure of the ocean. It just instantly imploded, and that's not to say it's good that they died that way anyway.
It's a very quick.
But your brain can't conceptualize what's going on when it implodes that fast. So they essentially died without pain, which is how you would want someone to pass. But it's just like, I can't imagine being that far down and you're going down and you're like, yeah, implodes.
Oh, done. A can. Like, it was probably like a can. Like, literally. It just crunched. And then,
yeah, pieces and fragments. That's how they said they imploded, because they were finding fragments of this vessel.
Of the vessel.
So assumptions are obviously
they're fish chum.
And now it's out there.
Yeah, no, they are.
That is nuts.
They're floating in the Atlantic now.
And one of them last year or a couple years ago went to space. Imagine having that much money, just Earth, like this level is just boring. With money. Right? That's like FU money, because you can do anything. And then like a year or two ago, one of the guy's wife was like, yeah, he almost had this terrible freak plane accident. Sir, sit your ass at home.
Yeah, right?
I'm not going nowhere.
Poker. Go like the World Series. Do like,
stay home. Cook a meal.
Don't go in the water.
Billionaire's house. Like, I could spend the rest of my life in
and
a billionaire's
house. Taking your son? And then the whole thing with like the Cardi B. Did you see that?
Yeah. Like, I laugh because it's comically funny and ironic. Like, oh yeah, he went to a concert. So the stepson, right, of one of the guys who passed, went to a Blink-182 concert. He said it was gonna it was helping
him because what would sitting around the house being depressed help?
Which totally understand. And then Cardi B comes on and makes this like video about. I think
she had like a weird thing around her.
It was a filter of literally a musculature anatomy human.
Yeah.
Like, just, it was weird. She was basically making fun of him, like, why would you be going to a concert? You should be sitting home.
She has a point. Like, be with your family. You don't, like, at this point, too, like, I mean, they were definitely...
I couldn't go to a concert. I'd be crying all day.
Yeah. There's a difference between, like, grieving in the moments that they're lost. Like, you literally have the U.S. Coast Guard and the Navy looking...
You can't turn on your phone or anything without seeing it.
But you have, like, literally... military looking for your family members. Like, yeah, that's not really a time to go. If it was like 2 months ago, like 2 months later,
different.
Go to the Blink-182 concert.
This was days.
This was literally like the day after they went missing. Yeah. They're like, I'm gonna go to a Blink-182 concert. I get it. Like, you're a kid. I get it.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think your parents taught you about family values or grief or care for other people.
Even if you weren't feeling it, you know your other loved ones are. Like, just be there for them.
Be
like, if
there
you're not,
with the loved one.
Sometimes it's happened. Something that traumatic,
I think that just shows
and you
a
can't
relationship between the kid and the family, the rest of the family.
Yeah, or that, like you said,
money shows.
Family. Yeah, family values are a little different.
Yeah, and then just going into that's the whole story. Is like, that's just crazy. Nuts. I'm still wrapping my head around it, but just like people with money, like the whole Zuckerberg. Why can't I fucking talk today? Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. Cage match. Let's go.
This is nuts.
Oh, Mark.
I'm
100% Mark.
Yes, right? So from I love UFC.
Even though he did take all of our information from Facebook. But
and gave it to the entire
world. Elon Musk is definitely just worse.
Yeah.
So
they're doing a cage match. They're going to do MMA. Now, it was all started on Twitter, and... You fucking bitch. I got it. Or Elon Musk, right, was the first one who was like, initiating the fight. Or the cage match.
He's such talk. Like, Mark just minds his own business.
You don't ever see him, like, outrageously out there doing, like, as much as Elon does, right? Or I just don't look at it.
No, Elon is definitely, like, more a pusher. Like,
So it's like...
He's a pusher. He pushes.
So Elon Musk puts this out there. Mark Zuckerberg calls Dana White. If you don't know who Dana White is, he's literally the face of the UFC. Like, this man's so rich. Mm-hmm. And it's like, is he serious about this? Dana was like, let me call Elon and make sure.
Let's get the intel.
Yeah. And Elon was like, I'm ready. I'm down. Calls him back. Dana's like, I'll set this up. Because they wanted to do it at the Vegas arena that UFC has down there.
Let's all go.
Like, dude.
Live show. Live show.
Imagine
Guy by the unconscious.
It's like, we're here. Reporting live. Like, Mark and Mark. Yes. And it's weird. So, one, rules and regulations of fight, like an MMA match.
Yeah.
There's got to be a weight class. So Elon Musk is around, I can't remember exactly, but I think it's 6'1", 180. Around that, those are his stats. Big dude. And Mark Zuckerberg is 5'7", 5'8", I believe it said 160, around that weight.
Okay.
So they can't fight. Like
they would have to match.
Won't allow it. They're gonna have to meet at a common weight.
Yeah.
Mark is gonna have to go up, and Elon's gonna have to go down. So right then and there, right then and there, that does make a whole new fight. Because if they were to fight at the weights that they are now, by sheer weight, Elon would be able to not knock him out, but if they're on the ground grappling, his sheer weight is so much it would be a disadvantage to Mark. Mm-hmm. I mean, Mark. So that's one, they have to meet at a common ground. 2, Mark Zuckerberg actually practices MMA and more or less jiu-jitsu side. Other than
which is intense.
Which is intense. Which is a hard.
It's extreme.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to learn. Jiu-jitsu, boxing. Not saying that the other ones aren't hard, but it's more intricate.
It's a technique within martial arts.
It's like down to like inches. This person's here. You grab this, fold this, da da da. Right?
Is jiu-jitsu when you use like your muscle points too? Like you could hit.
No, like pressure points?
Yeah.
No, so with you can't use
I know you can't do that in MMA, but I'm saying in jiu-jitsu, is there a
pressure point, but like leverages.
Okay.
Yeah. So if this person's leaning too far, they have guard, like you're on the ground and you've got your legs, right? So they're in your guard. Like there's obviously certain ways that this person leans this way to like take advantage of the point. So there's already that. Elon Musk says he has done taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, karate.
He looks built, or like he looks like he used to have a build.
Now maybe not so much. But he's a bigger, because he's 180. That's
a hefty
solid
weight.
size, yeah. And he says he's done all this stuff, which he might have. I'm not discrediting him, but I've never seen it. I've never seen him. Although I did see a video of him boxing some person. I can't remember what it was. It was not in a like legit cage match UFC type vibe, but he did not look like he had any technique.
I don't know.
Like no technique.
I feel like he just has like that like a Russian gangster mentality. You know, something that just like I think that's what really is going to get him.
Yes.
He just has like that power.
There's like
a strong,
an aggressive type of approach to it. Yeah, and there's 2 aspects when it comes to fighting. Is obviously technique. You need to know what you're doing. You need to know how to box,
and
how
body
to properly
language.
All of it. They're at an elite level. These UFC fighters, as let's say they're standing up. This is for the entire thing, ground game or standing up. If I go to start throwing punches and combos, the way I move my body, my opponent will know what I'm about to throw. It's just how it happens. If I go to throw a jab and I go literally just that small movement, they know I'm throwing a right hook.
Correct.
Or like, you know what I mean? Like an uppercut or whatever it may be, but they already know this. So one technique, and then you have to know how to count, like, it just makes no sense. If 2 people don't know how to fight, it obviously turns into this crazy, like...
Well, it's an unfair match.
Assuming Elon Musk doesn't have the training, that already gives Mark the advantage. Yeah. 100%. And he's been training MMA, specifically jiu-jitsu, but if you're training at an MMA gym, you're going to learn
the higher.
Yeah. So I just can't... I think Mark Zuckerberg has the advantage. And it's funny because if you look on TikTok, like, everyone's Elon Musk. Everyone. And
I'm like, everybody loves Elon Musk. The man's a menace.
I just think it's because he's more of a public figure than Mark is. Well, like, I don't see Mark a lot on things.
Well, he's pasty as hell. He's a robot.
Yeah.
So he's just very to himself. Like he's a very private person, but he also like his wife is like that too. Like they're very like to themselves people.
Like an introvert.
Yeah, they are. They're very introverts. Yeah. So. Yeah. Like, and he doesn't have like the best run for his money with Facebook and everything. Because there's like that whole thing going on.
Yeah. But, and then you get Elon. He's like on podcasts. He's doing like all this shit. So you like see him more.
I would still go for Mark.
But I think statistic wise, like if I were looking at them as two UFC fighters, I would think Elon, Mark has it.
Mark has it.
I just would. Because
well, like you said, like he's been training. He's
he does this.
And he has the history. So like if you're training with this too, you're learning the culture of this as well, and you're probably getting a lot of insight on how bodies move and how to, like what you said,
exactly.
Like, you have to, like,
you learn how to read the other person, which is really crucial in a cage match.
That could save your life.
100%. 100%. If you don't see the person throwing a hard hook and they throw a hard hook and knock you out,
you're done for.
Yeah. Exactly.
No. I'm definitely down for it though. We're gonna do Las Vegas trip. I will pay for those tickets. We are going
company trip. Company trip.
It's right off.
It's research and development. We gotta figure this out. Those tickets are probably
they're gonna be stupid. They're gonna be probably just like Taylor Swift tickets.
Probably more.
It's a leg in
because they were talking about stats. Even Dana White was talking about it. So he did like a little opinion, I guess. About and on it. If anyone knows, like the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather boxing match, which to date was the highest revenue of any MMA, mixed martial arts, boxing, like any even individual. It is the highest. They were making millions, like millions. I'm pretty sure one of them made like $30 million off of one fight. Yeah. I think it was Conor who made a little more, and then I think Floyd made like 25. Wow. I can't remember the exact, but they were double-digit millions.
That's crazy.
Nuts. And then Dana White was like, this fight alone will triple in revenue.
Well, I mean, look.
Well, because they're billionaires.
First off, they're tech billionaires.
It's crazy.
That, given what we know about Mark, but just say, like, they really actually don't know the atmosphere of the arena. Like, it is so different opposed to, like, just training in your gym and with your own personal, like, your own trainer.
Yeah.
Than opposed to, like, an actual match. Like, an actual match. Like, that is such intense training.
So much.
Dieting. Like, there's a lot that you got to go into, especially now. Mentally. What you said, like, you have to match weights.
You have to.
Like that is crucial on your
someone's
body.
Gonna have to, and they'll both be at a disadvantage in that sense, because you think of Elon Musk, the 180 that he fights at, that's where his energy, he's used to that. He's used to that weight. He's used to the energy at that. If he cuts, let's say they meet in the middle, if they cut and meet in the middle, he's already lost some energy and some power because you lost muscle. Like, that's just how science works. And then you go into Mark's side, where Mark has to now gain a bunch of weight, which his body is not used to moving at. You become a little slower because just of the sheer mass that you put on. Like, even a pound or two is crucial in MMA. When they do weight, like weigh-ins, if you're not like half an inch within that range, you don't make the money. So that's how UFC. Wow. If two fighters if we go into a match, we both weigh the same, or we're fighting at the same weight, and I come in a full pound over, we're still fighting. But even if I win, I don't make the money because you didn't make weight.
That's fucked.
Yeah. So that's like, it's such a big deal when there's
that's crazy.
Championship
you probably lose so much weight too within the fight itself.
Google like any weight cut of any like professional big time MMA fighter or UFC or whatever. You feel for them. They're so drained.
Oh my gosh.
So drained. Oh, and there's another thing.
Not to like cut you off.
No,
just like there's that one video. It's like a woman though, but she's in MMA, like definitely.
Savage.
Her face was brutal. And, like, it's just, like, an interview after facts, and it's just, like, a meme saying, like, how's your day going? She's like, it's real positive vibes out here. Like, we're doing good. I'm happy how the outcome. While, like, her face is blown up.
It's nuts. I feel that. So they have a weight class, right? Which is very controversial, at least for me. So if we go in, you're Mark, I'm Elon. I cut weight, you gained weight. Now we're weighing in at the same size, same weight. It's the day before. That's typically how they do weigh-ins. Weigh-ins, and the next day you fight. After that, you can eat whatever you want. So fight day, Elon Musk could be back at 180. It doesn't make... Shit. That's why weigh-ins are very, it took me a second. I was like, wait, what? And that's with all fighters. So, like, if you see two fighters fight each other, right? Weigh-ins... They're like scrawny. They're like, they're going to die because they lost so much weight. And then you look at them day of fight, you can easily gain 15 to 20 pounds overnight when you're cutting that much weight. Your body just puts it back on. But then that's not fair. Yeah. Because then Mark will be at his 160 and then Elon will be at 180. What's the point
of the weigh-ins?
Exactly. That's why, to me,
it's just like a regulation in place.
It's a rule to make sure they make weight, but then what's the point if they're not fighting at that weight?
I feel like you should be weighing them the day after.
Yeah. You should show up in the cage that weight. Because that's a fair fight, in my opinion.
100. Yeah, you should be
that's a fair fight.
You should be weighed before you go into the pen.
Yeah.
Right, the pen?
Cage.
The cage?
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
They're pigs.
Go find that.
They're going in the pig pen. Go find that mud.
The pen. The penitentiary. No. But yeah, I just don't think it'll be a fair fight for one. Yeah. No. Because of the weight. Mm-hmm. And it'll be very interesting. Like, I'm totally looking forward to this fight. They didn't set a date yet.
I'm definitely not. No, this is still too new. Like, this happened, 2 days ago. I think this was definitely a way to, like, get people away from the submissible.
Probably. They'll always make you look here while something's going on here.
Yeah.
I bet in the next 4 to 5 months.
A Christmas time death match.
Mm-hmm. Thanksgiving or something like that. It'll definitely
I just want to see some blood.
Around. I just want to see them go at it. Really it's crazy.
See them throw punches at each other. It's just the most I don't like this. This is
crazy.
This is
because you bring two worlds.
It's crazy
MMA,
how everything flipped where. We rich people would use poor people as jesters to make jokes and laugh just because
or to fight it out
or just
right?
to fight
in that very Spartan era.
They would get slaves to fool each other.
Yeah,
and now we have billionaires fighting each other. We're like, let's go.
Exactly. We're the ones watching these
fucking
wealthy men
stupid rich
duel it out.
I'm all for it. If this is where the world's going, where billionaires just start
and we get to watch
start spending their money on stupid things to die and then go into MMA fighting and beat each other up. I'm for that world. I'm for that future.
Let's go.
Donate all of your money to charities.
So that's what I'm hoping. So they're obviously going to make a disgusting amount of money. To them, it may not be astronomical, but that's life-changing for a normal person. I hope they donate or do something with the money they're earning. Yeah. I hope. One can only hope.
Marine science. Save our waters, our whales, our turtles.
Something. Feed every homeless person in New York or something. You can...
Something.
You can buy a meal.
Yeah.
For every homeless person in New York with the amount of money that they're going to make.
And give them a home easily.
Yeah. Give them, they better do something good with it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. But I think those
are crazy.
Those are crazy. That's just...
this week was crazy in this world.
No, there was a lot. My head, I still won't be able to. We're gonna come next week and film, and I'm still gonna be not okay with how everything ended up with this submissible...
Agreed.
The Titan. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, we're gonna end our episode on our deep Q&A. We still need to think of a
little segment of whatever.
Yeah. Unconscious questions.
What did I just think of? Robots in Transformers. That's what I thought of. Robots in disguise. No.
Did they say that Transformers?
In the cartoon Transformers, not in the now.
I'm an adult.
We're the same age.
I know.
same age, literally weeks apart.
I don't think I've ever watched the
the cartoon. In the beginning, they're like, Transformers, robots in disguise.
Oh, I like that. Okay, we'll do something. But anyway, so this is your deep Q&A, and that is, how much does society control your decisions?
I think society controls all of your decisions.
All of your decisions.
Consciously or subconsciously, I think. Whether that's how you were brought up, because let's face it, yes, your parents bring you up and like your little village of people who have molded you into who you are, family, friends, and things like that. Ultimately, when you're in that impressionable era, especially now with technology,
like your adolescent years,
you are listening to TV, to music, to social media.
Your brain's a sponge. Literally. It's just soaking everything in.
All of it. So you can't help but be influenced by society when all you do is see the opinions and voices of everyone else.
It just like came into my head. There's like the video of like they're in an airplane watching movies, and there's a little kid. You watch this little kid, and this little kid's like, he's gonna forever look at women differently, and he turns over to what the guy's watching on the screen. It's like a sex scene
in a movie,
and it's like it's so inappropriate to watch on a plane. But like that little moment of that scene is so impressionable to that kid. Like that kid,
he's gonna remember that.
His innocence is
gone,
is diminished,
gone. And even so, you have society, you have social media, and then you have like religion, where that also has a play in it. You think of all these people who were born into like cults and stuff like that. Whatever that cult believed, you're gonna believe, because that's all you know. That's all you know. That's all you've ever seen.
There was a documentary on Netflix called Obey and Pray. Love, Pray, and Obey. And it's about, I think that's what it was called, Love, Pray, and Pray. And it was about a Mormon society and how they treat each other and their values in life and their views. And there was episodes that kind of dived more into like the women aspect, because men treated women as possession, and if you had more wives, the more powerful you are, and if you die with a certain amount of wives, then you become a god in the afterlife. There's like all these things. So they go in into this whole thing, but they talk about women, and the women actually thought like, this is my way of life. This is how I have to be. Like I am here to serve, love, and obey. And that was like
can't be me.
But like you can't imagine like what that's all they knew. That's all they knew. And then they go out into society and realize like, oh, we don't like, you don't
this
have
is
to
not how
wear
it
hair
is.
like this. Oh, we don't have to dress like this. Oh, like
I could speak to whoever I want.
You could have eye contact with people and actually socialize without any repercussions, without
consequences,
any
or you're gonna go to hell, or
it's scary. It blocks. It's very close-minded. It blocks you. I'm very grateful. Like I did not grow up in a very religious household. My mom and my dad both taught me religion. My mom's Episcopalian and my dad's Jewish, so I have a nice blend, but like they never forced it. They educated me.
I love that.
But then they were just like, you
could form your own opinion.
What you want to believe, but like this is what they learned. And I'm very grateful that they didn't do that, because it kept me open-minded. And then when somebody talks about like, now I have the knowledge to talk to somebody in that religion and be open-minded about it, even though I might not necessarily believe everything within
being open-minded
within Christianity, without like within anything.
With anything, I don't think anyone can believe in something like
they taught me was like, look, this is what people believe in. You could believe in it too, but you don't have to.
Yes,
it's just
give you the freedom to form your opinion.
But this is like what people need for guidance
too.
Like they need those boundaries, because they can't really like, I don't say think for themselves, but they need that push. They need some type of value in life, because if they don't, then it's just like it's a blank mind.
Even in schools where you really don't get to learn what you want, like you learn what they teach you and tell you to learn. Oh, well, this semester in social studies, you're going to learn this. In this math class, you're going to learn this.
And each state, each province, all are taught different things too. Like
the Board of Ed.
I would go to even like I went to Staten Island. My Montessori school, obviously it was teaching things much different than the public schools. And when I would meet with my neighbor, like we're very close with our neighbors, like, you know, the same ages, we meet up after school and we talk about like what we learned. No idea of anything that they were talking about, and like my day was so different to them. So different, yeah. And it's just, you get kind of like taken back on how much information is out there and how people are taking it in and how they're learning it.
I agree, especially things like they always tell you're going to use this in your future.
I don't remember anything.
I've never used the Pythagorean theorem. I've never used y equals mx plus b. I've never used the scientific method either.
We also did not need to spend $90 on those Texas calculators. Like, why did we need a graphing calculator?
My mom hated that.
I don't even think I ever made a graph after that class.
No. Because
PowerPoint
in
does
life,
that for
unless
me.
You're becoming some type of architect or engineer or something like that.
I think
use that on my day-to-day basis.
We need to go into where, like, if you are good in this subject, then you continue in that subject. Don't force me. Like, if you're not good at arts and crafts, like, take the class just so you can, like, get a feel for it. But if you're not doing well in that class, you should not be forced to take it again.
I agree.
I think you should just continue on and move your brain into subjects that actually interest you and then grow off of those skills.
I think people would find their career and their passion faster that way than being structured into a conformed way of teaching something.
I believe, I mean, it's a very, like, skewed opinion about, like, homeschooling. I think it depends on the parents. I think some parents are
if you're educated to do it, then
do it. Yes, because it will just open the kid's mind up so much more than like what a public school or private school would do. And,
agreed.
And you're probably not I don't know, like, the economics behind it.
I don't think you would be spending as much.
I think you might have to pay something to, like, the state.
Probably, because you always gotta pay some
But if you are, like, highly educated and you think that you could actually teach your kid really great morals and values and make sure that they have a pretty set foundation for them in their future, then I'm, like, all for it.
Agreed.
Especially if you have a good head on your shoulders.
Yeah. And you're well equipped too, then.
And I think those people, and if you are good at it, then join our educational system. So
no hate against teachers. Like, I have some teacher friends, but it's different.
It's very different. Yeah,
it is.
But definitely, we want you guys to let us know how society kind of affects your decisions. Yeah. And, like, it's definitely a touch point on everything, anything and everything you do.
Every move we make during the day is going to be somehow influenced by society, whether we like it or not. But
I mean, just talk about the road rage before. Like, that was a decision. I'm still like, that's crazy. Dude. The length that somebody would go.
And that's a far distance. Yeah. Wegmans to East Brunswick Mall. Manalapan to East Brunswick. You got to go through 9, you got to go through 18.
Some road rage will change your day.
Until he saw us.
Until your dad came out with the bat.
A little scary, but yeah. I think that concludes our last third episode, right? Yeah, wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. Please definitely like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it, tell your parents, tell your significant others. We don't judge.
Your pets. Just put earbuds in them.
They listen.
They'll love us.
They'll love us, yes.
But we really...
You go. Go ahead, girlfriend.
Well, really appreciate you guys. We are really happy that you guys are tuning in and listening. We definitely want to hear your thoughts and opinions, too, on what happened this past week. It's just crazy. But we really appreciate your time, and thank you for listening to another episode of Guided by the Unconscious. I'm Emily Newman-Graves.
And I'm Danielle Arriaga.
And we'll see you next Sunday.
Yes.
2 Sundays.